Good morning, everybody. Since I had my pack all put together for what my first overnight is gonna be like, to be taking it out on my training hikes, I thought I'd go through and show you everything I've got in my pack, so you can get a sense of what I'm gonna be experimenting with and what you might think about if you're going out on your own first backpacking trip. So let's get at it. The first thing I want to show you, I know I talked about this in my last hike video, is my new pack. This is the Flash 55 from REI. I really like this pack. It's incredibly lightweight. It's about 2.5 pounds. It's incredibly adjustable. A lot of these pockets come off. This one is waterproof. This one is mesh, so if I need to put anything wet in there to drain out, that can sit there. It's got water bottle pockets and storage pockets on the side. It's got lots of straps for attaching stuff. You can see I've attached a bandana. I use this as a snot rag or a sweat rag or whatever I need when I'm hiking. It has a big mesh pouch on the back. So this is really good. I'll keep my tarp in here. I'll keep my water filter in here. Anything wet or dirty can go on the outside of the pack, so it's not getting my kit messed up. It's got hooks for my trekking poles, so when I don't want to carry my trekking poles, I can attach those. So a lot of flexibility with this. I really like this. And then it has a roll top and one big pouch to store everything in. And all this stuff fits in this pack very easily, and there's room to spare. So I can do a lot with this, and it's going to make it easier if I decide to go on a longer trip, or if I want to experiment with some of my gear, which I will probably be experimenting with some of my gear at some point. But I think this is going to be really good for my hikes. The other thing I've added on is I just zip tied a binder clip to the outside here. Ostensibly, this is for me to put my hat when it gets too hot to wear while I'm hiking. But in July, a wool derby is not going to be a good hiking hat. So in that case, I'll be able to attach wet socks to it, or anything like that. Anything that's wet or messy that I don't want in my bag, I can attach here to give it a chance to dry out while I'm hiking. Alright. This stuff you've all seen before. These are my under quilts, my hammock and tarp. These are all the suspension and the tent stakes. If you haven't watched it already, go back and watch my hammock hang video, and that'll explain all of these components to you. I have a foldable butt pad that I use when I'm going on day hikes and I want to take a break and I don't have someplace clean to sit down. I can pull this out and sit down on it. And I suspect when I'm in camp, I'm going to put this on the ground and use it to rest my backpack on when I'm unloading it and when I'm not using it. This is my 1-pound camping chair. This is my ultimate luxury item. I haven't used it yet. I have set it up. It's slid around a little bit on my bedroom floor, but I'm sure it won't out here. I'll do a demo sometime to show you guys how this works. But I'm too old to be sitting on the ground or sitting on a stump for long periods of time. I want a back. I'm carrying a 1-pound chair. It's worth it for me. This is a custom backpack cover that I had made by Dutchware Gear. It somewhere on here. Oh, there it is. It has my name on it. I like that. The Flash 55 doesn't come with its own pack cover, so I needed to get one when it's raining. It's water resistant, but every little bit helps. This weighs like 0.02 grams. I think this bag weighs more than the cover does. So it's just for peace of mind. I like to have it, and I can use that for other things, covering up stuff, or I can even use it as a bear bag if I need to. Not ideal as a bear bag, but I have that as fall bag. So for my clothes, I have this puffy jacket, which I'm definitely carrying at this time of the year, just because you never know. A lot of times we get really warm on the trail, but when we stop for breaks, or if I'm camping, when I stop for the night, I've been sweating, it's breezy, I'm gonna get cold at night, so I wanna have a little extra warmth just in case I get cold. Or, God forbid, if it goes down below freezing at night. My quilts are supposed to be to 20 degrees. I don't wanna be cold, so I'm gonna bring the puffy jacket until probably mid-June, just to make sure that I don't have to worry about being cold. I also have a pair of smart wool glove liners. This is really all I need just to take the edge off this time of year. If it gets a little cold, my hands tend to be cold for about the first mile of a hike, and then I don't really need these anymore. I might need them in camp at night if it gets cold again, but for the most part, these are just gonna be carry weight. And they weigh almost nothing, so it's not a big deal. There's my buff. Usually I'll be wearing this. I happen to have it in my pack today because I took it off during the hike yesterday and shoved it in my bag, so there you go. My rain gear, I have a Frog Togs jacket. I don't know why I keep it in here, it keeps it more contained. I do not have pants, and the reason for that is I hate wearing rain pants. I just hate them. And half the time they're pointless anyway, because the bottoms of your pants are still getting in the water and it's wicking the water up your leg, so your legs are gonna get wet anyway. What I'm very excited about is a friend of mine is custom making a silk poly nylon rain skirt for me. I'm very excited to get that and try it out, because in those situations I can just ruck the bottoms of my pants up to my knees and cinch them down, wear the rain skirt over them. Okay, my calves are gonna get wet, skin dries easy. Clothes not so much, so I'm really looking forward to having that, and I'll add that once she gets that done. No rush, Andrea, you're doing a great job, thank you. This is my other clothes bag. This is just a little waterproof bag that I want to keep the stuff that needs to stay dry. I want in a bag, so I do like having storage bags, especially when you're using a backpack that's one big compartment. I need things organized. I want to be able to put my hands on things really easily, so I am using these bags. I have a pair of hand knit socks that are my sleep socks. They're terrible for hiking in, which is why I'm bringing them as sleep socks, because then I guarantee I only use them in the hammock at night sleeping to keep my feet warm. Probably that's not terribly forward thinking, because what happens if both my pairs of socks get wet? But I want to make sure I have a good pair of socks for sleeping. Cold is my enemy. I don't ever want to be cold. I do have a second pair of hiking socks. I use the Darn Tough hiking socks. I love these socks. They stay in place really well. They are warm but not hot. I don't really sweat in them. I hardly get blisters in them. Yeah, they're a little expensive, but for me, they're worth the expense of having comfortable feet. I have a spare pair of underwear. You don't need to see those. They're microfiber underwear, just from Fruit of the Loom. You don't need expensive backpack underwear. Just get some kind of polyester granny panties and you're good. And then I also got a set of microfiber long johns. So those are the pants and the top. These are really warm, even in cold temperatures. I'm not a big fan of smart wool. it just itches me. Even the softest, my skin is just too sensitive to wear wool. So I wear silk base layer, and I'll wear the silk base layer under these, and that'll keep me nice and warm. Food. So this is my food kit. This is my bear bag. No, it is not a Grizzly Bear Council approved bear bag. We don't have grizzly bears in the Northeast. If I ever go out west, I will probably get a super Ursack or a bear canister, whatever's approved. I don't foresee that happening anytime in the near future, so this and a decent bear hang is gonna do everything I need it to do. And in this bag, I have, we'll go over that in a second. So this is my food bag. This is an OpSac odor-proof bag. So it's got all my food in it. And this keeps the bears from being able to smell my food. And more importantly, the smaller critters. I'm more worried about squirrels and chipmunks, whatever, eating through my equipment. So if they can't smell it, they don't know it's here. All that'll go in here. My snack food at the end of the day, my toothpaste will go in here. Anything that smells will go in here, go in this bag, and get hung up over a branch. And I'm sure there will be a video at some point to laugh at me trying to do a bear hang. The other thing I have in here that I'm really excited to try out is my new food cozy. Let me show you this. This is just a padded pouch with a Velcro top. It's like the same fabric that you would make pot holders out of. And what I can do is when I make my food to rehydrate, so a rehydrated food bag might look something like this. If I do any of my homemade food, it's gonna be in a Ziploc freezer bag, like a quart-size freezer bag. All of those, you add the hot water here, you mix it up, you zip it shut, and then you slip it in here. And if it's small enough, you Ziploc it shut. And then you leave it for the 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever is advised for rehydration. You just let it sit there. The insulation keeps it nice and warm, so after it's had its chance to rehydrate, your dinner's still warm. So I'm really excited to use this for the first time. This came from TFW Photography on Etsy. I think it was $20. Yeah, I could have made one for myself, but it's worth it for me not to, because I'm a terrible seamstress. This is really well made. It's going to do everything I need. When I first looked at it, I thought, well, that's a little small, but then I tested it with the bags. It fits perfectly. So this is going to be a great addition to my gear. All right. This little guy is my entire kitchen. Yes, indeed, the entire kitchen. Well, not the fuel, but everything else that I need is in here. So in this little bag, first off, I keep a lighter. And I like a lighter that has an extension on it. I hate burning my fingers. So this way I got, well, if it's gonna light, well, always check your lighter before you go out on the trail. So I may have to replace this. It should have fuel in it, but anyway, always check your gear. So, but I keep a lighter in here and I have several others elsewhere, and we'll go through all of that. Inside the bag, inside the bag is my pot. This is a titanium pot. It's a Toaks 750. I really like it because it holds enough to make my dinner and a cup of tea. And it has measurement marks on the side, so I don't need to measure if I don't want to, but I can. So it's, I mean, for boiling water, titanium is the best because it heats up fast and it heats the water up quickly. So within 2 minutes I have boiling water in this. The other thing I have, this is my other luxury item, is I do have a plastic mug. This is a GSI Outdoors mug. It's like $7 at REI, and it comes with a little insulated sleeve. So this is fabulous for making your tea in the morning, and it keeps everything nice and warm. I've done oatmeal in here. Again, like with the rehydration sleeve, I can put my oatmeal in here. The insulation keeps it nice and warm while it's hydrating, and I can eat right out of here. I also like that I can be eating out of my pot and drinking out of my cup. I really want to have two sources for drinking and eating. So, and then the other thing I have in here is my stove. So this is an MSR Pocket Rocket. It's the more expensive option for doing camp stoves. I know a lot of people get a cheap BSR stove off of Amazon. I wanted something that I knew the reputation of, so I got this. It's a great little stove. I did not get the lighter option. Some of these come with an igniter on it. I didn't want to have one more thing that was going to fail on me, like my lighter, so I got the more simple version. So this is really easy and works with this. This is your fuel canister, and they come in all different sizes. This I think is a 4 ounce. I have an 8 ounce for if I'm doing multiple days. If I'm just doing an overnight, this is going to be more than enough. Xander and I went on a 3-night overnight, and we went through 1.5 of these for 2 people for, what's that, 10 meals? So yeah, it works out really well. And this weighs, well, it's 4 ounces of fluid. I haven't actually weighed it, so I'm not sure how heavy it is. But this doesn't count in your base weight because this is a consumable, so this will go up and down. But you just pop this cap off, you screw the stove onto the threads, you turn this, you light it, boom, you've got fire. It's real quick, real easy. If I was really worried about weight or really being what's called a gram weenie, I could be experimenting with alcohol stoves, which is basically a cat food can with holes punched in it and a small bottle of denatured alcohol. You use 1 ounce of that, you light it, you put your tin cup or your titanium cup on it, you boil your water. It's lighter than this combination, but it's more hassle. Again, I am not a thru hiker, so I don't have to be that concerned with weight. So I'm going to go with what I'm comfortable with and what I know is going to get me fed at the end of the day. So the other component of my food kit is my water filter. I use the Katadyn Be Free. This is the filter itself, and it just screws onto this 1 liter bag. You fill the bag up with water, you screw the filter on, you squeeze the water out through the filter into one of your water bottles, boom, you've got clean water. I love how compact this is. I like that the filter holes are really big, so it's really easy to clean it out. I don't have to back flush it, I don't have to fuss with it. I'm really happy with this filter, so I'm looking forward to using this. With that, I have a bunch of smart water bottles. I will carry with me 2 1-liter smart water bottles. I may only have one that has water in it, depending on what I know about the water sources on the trail that I'm on, because water is weight, and I think every liter is 2.2 pounds. That's a lot of weight. So if I can avoid carrying extra water, I will, but I don't want to get caught out without water. So I have the option, I carry 2 1-liter bottles in the back of the pack on the side pockets, and I have a water bottle holder that carries a 750 milliliter bottle. That's my drinking bottle. I can put drink mixes in those, electrolytes, anything like that can go in that one bottle. These I keep clear for using for cooking or whatever. So this gives me a lot of flexibility, and if I'm in a really dry space, I can also use the bag on the Katadyn. There's an extra liter, so I can carry up to a little over 3.5 liters of water while I'm out on the trail. The other thing that I didn't mention that was in my cup is I just have this little rag. A lot of hikers will actually, instead of having the insulated cup, they'll put their fuel canister in the bottom of the toques. And in those situations, they wrap that up in cloth so that the canister doesn't rust and stain the inside of the pot. I'm not doing that. I'm just wrapping my stove in it to keep it from rattling around. But then I have it to clean out my pot if I cook directly in the pot or whatever I need it for. All of this, when I'm done at the end of the night, will get packed back up into the little orange bag, will go into my food sack and go up in my bear hang. Also in my bear bag, I have a long-handled titanium spoon. This is probably excessive for what I'm going to be doing, but you know, all the cool kids have titanium spoons, so I've got a titanium spoon. And if you're starting out and you don't want to spend this kind of money, go to Dairy Queen, get yourself a Blizzard with a long spoon, maybe ask them for an extra one, shove that in your bag. That's all you need. They might break, so you know, if you're going out for 1 or 2 nights, not a big deal. If you're going out for a longer hike, you want to have something that's going to be solid. And I have my bear rope. So this is just 50 feet of cord and a carabiner. The one thing I don't have that I need to get, and actually I could probably use the bag that I have my pack cover in, is something to put a couple of rocks in that I would clip to this, use that to throw it up over a high branch, let this down, feed the cord through the carabiner, and then attach the bag to the carabiner, pull the bag up as high as I can up the tree, and then wrap a stick around the rope and let this back down. When the stick hits the carabiner, the bag is going to stop moving. So the bag is going to be 8 to 10 feet up in the air, and hopefully it should be about 6 feet out from the tree. So that's going to deter bears. Bears aren't going to be able to reach it. They're not going to be able to climb the tree to get to it. And more importantly, the little critters won't be able to get down to it either. So, see, Mom, I'm paying attention. I'm being safe. I'm looking out for the bears.